Hi, Vikings. So today we are working on our last document. Like I told you last week, you will have time to finish document E and anything that you have not completed yet. Remember, tomorrow your essay is due. And I know you hear that word and you freak out, but for your essay, it's everything that you've already done. It's all of your journal entries. You're just going to put them together on your document and then read through them, make sure it makes sense, add anything to make it more interesting because it is a narrative. So you are writing a story. Yes, we remember this? Okay, good. And from there, you're going to turn it in. So it should be super duper easy. But before we get there, let's work on document E today. So the source of this is actually not a real historical document. This is something that educators have made up for you to give an example of the kind of things that happened along the Silk Road at these outposts, at these trading stations. Follow along with me as we read the note. After leaving Marikanda, a traveler heading west on the Silk Road traveled through modern-day Iran and Iraq, eventually arriving in Antioch. If you don't remember where any of these things are, can you go back through your other documents and look at our map? Good. So if you need to, pause the video, go back to document A, and check out that map to see where Marikanda and the other entry stops were. Antioch was a major city in the eastern edge of the Roman Empire, not far from the Mediterranean Sea. The Chinese viewed this city as Rome itself. So that sentence is telling us that even though Antioch was not Rome, it's actually a few hundred miles away, the Chinese viewed it as Rome because they, back in Dunhuang, lived so far away that it's like, close enough. Caravans approached Antioch via a 30-foot wide paved road that led to the huge gates at the city. At Antioch, a trader might record transactions made over the past year along the Silk Road. So just like in the last document that we saw in Marikanda, that was not the only city that had city walls around it to protect it and keep it safe. Almost every large city had these with the multiple entry points, but not an open city like we know today. So let's take a look at our merchant's logbook. So in Dunhuang, they gave one book of Confucian lessons and they received one book of Buddhist prayers. In Fergana, they gave 100 bolts of silk for 200 Fergana horses. Now they didn't have all the horses in the city. They got like a little receipt and they had to pick them up on return. What did they get in Marikanda, in Regay, in Palmyra, and in Antioch? Pause the video, read through it right now. Okay, and now lost in the Talikmakan Desert was a camel and its driver carrying 300 bolts of Chang'an silk. So you are going to answer these questions. Number one, look at the map in document A again. Through which cities would you have to travel to get from Marikanda to Antioch? Remember, you are answering in complete sentences. You are middle schoolers. This is the expectation. Number two, which of the Silk Road cities in this chart offered silk in exchange for other goods? So for this one, you are going to say, okay, where did I give silk? So here, here, and here, and what did I get in return? Something to keep in mind when you have a chart like this, if it's two things here and two things here, usually it's 10 bolts of silk were traded for 20 skeins of wool. Okay, it's not you needed the vases and the wool, or I'm sorry, you didn't need the vases and the silk to get the pepper and the wool. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Number three, according to the chart, what seeds did our traveler trade in Regay? So you're going to go back up here. You're going to look for the location, what was given, and what was received, and you are answering an incomplete sentence. And our last official question, consider the goods traded in these 6 cities. Would you say they were luxury items for the wealthy or everyday items for the common people? And give examples. I know that some of us got hung up on this word luxurious in one of our previous documents. And for those of you that didn't Google it, tisk and shame. And for those of you that did, you know that luxury means very, very expensive, very wealthy, not really necessary. So if I'm giving an example, I would say in 2022, a A phone, I would say a smartphone would be a necessity in 2022. Now, however, a Galaxy S21 Ultra or an iPhone 27 is a luxury. Do you need that now? Absolutely not. But do you need a way to be able to connect and get a hold of people? Without question. So there's necessity versus luxury. Do we get that? Shoes are a necessity. Jordans are a luxury. Yes, we get the balance, the contradiction, not balance. Yes? Okay, good. And here's our last journal entry. Remember, you still have your role that you were playing. I remember I'm playing a soldier. So for your fifth and final journal entry, you are going to label it Antioch, April 22nd, 201 in the evening. So you have been on this journey for over a year. The caravan has reached its final destination, Antioch, the western end of the Silk Road. You are one of the few people to travel the entire length of the route. Reflect on this once-in-a-lifetime achievement. Also, review the ledger, which lists some of the trade transactions that took place during your journey. Has the journey turned out the way that you hoped? So if I don't remember this, I'm going to go back to my first journal entry where I talked about what I was expecting, what I was hoping for during this journey. Okay. Was the long journey worth the difficulties you endured? You have been away from your family for over a year. Was it worth it? Why or why not? How do you feel about the return journey? Friends, it took you over a year to get here. How do you feel about going back? Or are you just going to stay in Antioch? Record your thoughts in your journal. Friends, this is the last journal entry. Make it good, make it powerful. As always, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Be good people, make good choices. Go Vikings.